getting pretty damn hard to defend Carson Wentz. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's great to be here with all of you. It is Monday, the 23rd of November in 2020, 11:10 on the East Coast, and as always, joined alongside my co-host, Gavin Tony. Gavin, a pretty interesting weekend all across major sports. The NBA free agency fully winding up pretty much. We have not a lot of major moves, but a lot of little moves of notable names, little moving places. Golden State Warriors made a big move. So while we only have a half hour today to go over it, which will mostly be for the NFL, we'll still make sure we cover all of it. And of course, yesterday, some of the big games yesterday, the Raiders and the Chiefs spectacular game last night. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, it was a great game overall. The Raiders are for real, and they are a serious competitor in the AFC. The Steelers 10-0. Gav, I know you're still not so fond of them. We'll cover some of that today.
Overrated.
The Ravens losing to the Titans. As of right now, the Ravens are not in the playoffs if the playoffs were to have begun today. And then, most notably, which we will get into, of course, first, the Philadelphia Eagles falling to the Cleveland Browns. But first of all, Gavin, how are you doing today? How was your weekend?
Zach, from a non-sports standpoint, my weekend was fantastic. Zach, hung out with a couple of friends Saturday night, and kind of just hung out on a nice little deck. It was cold outside, but I don't mind it. It's what sweatshirts before. Now, from a sports perspective, can I go one Sunday without being disappointed? Damn it! I mean, please. I mean, what the hell was that I was watching? I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not my job to rant about the Eagles. It is, but there's a guy sitting across from me. So Zach, how are you doing? The floor is yours. Let's go ahead.
Before we get into that, yeah, Gavin, I'm doing all right, but first off, here's the question. How the hell did we get here? I would say right now, arguably, this is the lowest point of Carson Wentz's time with Philly and Doug Peterson's time. But let's take a step back and remember the highest point.
And then you pray for, if not a completion, at least maybe you get a defensive pass interference call.
There is nobody anywhere close to as tall as Rob Gronkowski. I would jam him at the line of scrimmage. I would not let him run freely off this ball.
Brady under pressure, escapes the sack, launching one for the end zone. It's a jump ball and it's incomplete. And Gronk was there. And time runs out.
And now, the low point of Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz's time in Philadelphia.
Off the fake to Sanders. He's the release, but an off-target throw is intercepted by Sione Takitaki. Pick 6 to the house for the Browns.
Well, indecision by Carson Wentz because he has a wide-open receiver. This little fake bubble screen and go type of play, and he's got the just wide-open Rager, and he decides not to throw the football, doesn't see it, ends up dumping it to Sanders, and Takitaki is all over this thing.
Denzel Ward off the corner had the hit, and Sione Takitaki with the first major play.
Unfortunately, a low point for this team for sure. This is what, 3-4 seasons apart? You'd say Nick Foles was the quarterback in the Super Bowl, but there's another guy who went 11-2 and should have been MVP that year. 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But at what point is that considered to be the fluke? And this, how he's playing right now, is considered to be the normal. I've come on here before and I've stated that I like Carson Wentz. I defended him and I was harsh on him this year. But I'll be honest with you, I was harsh on him because I wanted to be able to give him praise when they win games. The last praise that he deserved from a game they won was the Giants game. It wasn't even the Cowboys game. He played terrible in that game. The Philadelphia Eagles are playing horrible, and the wide receiving core is still not good. We thought they would be good. Fulgham, Rager, Ward. It seems like a fine complementary core, but it's really not. I'm sorry. The O-line is still not anywhere near. Jason Peters needs to pack his bag and get the hell out of here. No disrespect to the bodyguard, but he's hurting his chances of the Hall of Fame continuing to play. All right, and you have another guy in that depth chart who can go out there and was playing really well before Peters came back. Miles Sanders, 13 carries in the first half, 3 in the second half. Never was a 2-score game until late when the safety occurred and the Nick Chubb touchdown. Not much else to be factored into. The play calls continue to question me, and of course the quarterback play continues to be absolutely atrocious. I don't know where we go from here. I really don't. Whether it be the coaching staff, whether it be the quarterback play. I mean, of course, anyone that sits down on a Sunday and watches that game, you watch Carson Wentz, he looks terrible out there. He looks uncomfortable. He does not trust his receivers. None of what we saw yesterday, none of what we've seen a lot of the season makes me think that Carson Wentz is the future in Philadelphia. But I've pointed this out before, and my statement is going to stay. All right, and here's this. The coach goes before the quarterback. He just does. The guy on the other side of the field yesterday, you got a guy in Kevin Stefanski who has recreated that team, and now they're 7-3 with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. I think we can argue.
A genius, if I may add, by the way, Zach. He's a genius.
And I have to say, I think Carson Wentz is a more talented player than Baker Mayfield. Frank Wright in Indianapolis, I think Carson Wentz is more talented than Phillip Rivers. But for some reason, we're not harnessing that talent. For some reason, we are putting him in a situation to play like he is, and nobody is out there to help him. All right? What would happen if we benched him for Jalen Hurts? You wouldn't be benching him for Jalen Hurts. You'd be benching him to teach him a lesson saying you have to be held accountable. I think he has to at this point. Every week it's the same damn speech. I got to be better. I got to do this, all that, yada, yada, yada. I'm done with the bullshit. Apologies for the language, folks, but I'm tired of it. I mean, he seems like a great guy. He's a nice person. I never really understood how people could have an issue with him. He seems like a humble, nice, religious person who just has dogs and likes to go hunting and likes to play football. I mean, him and Nick Foles got along well. There were never any rifts between them, at least from what we know. But I mean, something's got to happen. And Gavin, when we look at the correlation between the run and the pass when they win games, that tells you more about the coaching staff than it does about Carson Wentz. All right? Why all of a sudden this year has he regressed significantly? Why does he have almost double the turnovers that he had last year when we're only 10 weeks into the season, 10 games into the season for the Eagles? I mean, is it that Carson Wentz magically lost his talent overnight, or does something else need to change on this team? Because you have a financial commitment to number 11. All right, and he's played well for this football team. Believe it or not, in 2018, the year after he tore his ACL, he was statistically better than he was the year before. And we know the story last year. That team did not help him at all, and he carried them to the playoffs. And if he was healthy, damn it, we were talking about them beating the Seahawks. The only reason that this team still is in the conversation every year for the playoffs is because that Carson Wentz is your quarterback. But again, there is no defense for Carson Wentz's play today. But because you're more financially committed to him than Doug Peterson, the coach has to go first. All right? We've seen that before. I guarantee if Mitchell Trubisky had a different coach, they'd be playing a little different. O-line's got to be healthy too. Eagles is the same thing, except you have a running back in number 26 who has played superb for this team, and you don't use him. It's disgusting. The lack of production, the lack of Gavin, how many drag routes were there yesterday? Every single play call needs at least 3.5 seconds to develop. Nobody's open. But don't worry, because the Carson Wentz haters will cherry pick the 1 or 2 plays a game where Rager's wide open and all this stuff. Okay, but that's like 7 or 8 yards down the field. Where's the slants? Where are the moving plays? Where are the pick routes? Where are all these things? We need to see, like for example, as this comment says, we need to change the playbook. Something has to change. It's not hard to simplify the playbook. And the inability to do it, the inability to get in your own way is disgusting. The O-line play is horrible. Carson Wentz needs to get out of the pocket more. That's a coaching decision, by the way. Carson Wentz is not going to just roll unless it's a designed roll, which really they should be doing more or less. Go watch some plays from late last year. Go watch that Cowboys game. Go watch that Giants game. Go watch that football team game. Let the coaching be consistent. That is my biggest pet peeve with this team. Of course, Carson Wentz is playing like, I'm not going to say, but he's playing really bad. Carson Wentz is playing really bad. Okay? But show me another quarterback that's going to do much better. I mean, you can say, oh my goodness, Patrick Mahomes. All right, Mahomes has had one of the best O-lines, one of the best group of weapons, a really good running back, and a phenomenal head coach. Mahomes is really talented. And that's the kind of team the Eagles should have. For some reason, Howie Roseman feels the need to just pile the bricks on Carson Wentz's back. Say, here, you do it all. We're going to sit back and do nothing. There's a guy in Minnesota, number 18, who's going off right now. There's a guy in Seattle, number 14, going off right now. The only thing that your second-round receiver caught last year was COVID. And I hope he feels better. I hope he does. Obviously, there's nothing to joke about with that. But it's a serious problem when your second-round draft pick out of a Pac-12 school can't be productive on your team. And why is Nelson Aguilar doing well on other teams? Why is Rasul Douglas doing really well on the Panthers? Why is Sidney Jones having a career year in Jacksonville? It's the coaching staff, damn it. I don't want to hear the Carson Wentz bullshit. Of course he looks like shit. Anybody would in that kind of system. All right, it's impossible to be able to repeat success when you don't repeat your play calling. This offense, it's horrible. An O-line that can maybe give you 2.5 seconds of protection. Carson Wentz is one of the best players in the league when he has less than 2.5 seconds to throw the ball, meaning that he gets it out in that time. All right? So why don't you develop some plays that do that? When was the last time the Eagles ran a screen? When was it? Week 3? 4? Go watch the film from last year. All right? Go watch it from 2017. Go watch the utilization of the run game. I can't. This team, it's horrible. This is a terrible, terrible coach football team. And there's no answers anymore. You're getting nothing new any week from this coaching staff. I was commented 2017 was a product of a great running team. Carson is a well below 500 quarterback throughout his career. That is a statistic true. All right? Rodgers for years had a bad line, yes, but look at the wide receiving core that he has had. Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams.
But Zach,
he's got Eddie Lacy in that backfield. All right? I think that, frankly, Carson Wentz is not looking good this year. It is, again, there's no defense for him right now. But let's see what happens if we give him a different coach because you're already financially committed to him.
Zach, I had to come on here. Zach, and this is when I know the Eagles are in trouble. This is Doug Pearson. You need to get an offensive coordinator because when you're doing this every game and you're looking for a play, guess what? It's not going to work. Look at Frank Wright. Zach, they won versus the Packers yesterday. And you called it. I said the otherwise. I thought Packers were going to win, but that's besides the point right now. Zach, why do you go against the run game? What are you allergic to the run game? Do we need to give you an EpiPen?
13 carries in the first half, 3 in the second half. Someone tell me why I accurately predicted that. Why is it so easy to understand how this team thinks?
Zach, on a 1st and 10, you're passing the ball. Why? Why don't you knock the yardage off? Why don't you run the ball? I know Miles Sanders had a fumble yesterday, but damn it, I still give him the ball regardless.
4.1 yards per carry against the Cleveland Browns, but you're one of the
better. And guess what? And Nick Chubb averaged 5. And Nick Chubb averaged 5 yards per carry yesterday. So it wasn't bad on that side. But my problem is besides the offense, Zach. It's just damn defense.
22 points.
Hold on. If anyone thought that Jalen Mills.
Actually, no, it wasn't 22 points. It was 15 or 16 because of the pick 6. 15 or 16 to a 7-3 team, Gabby. That's not bad.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Zach. This defense hasn't gotten any better.
They have not. I'll give you that. They have more talent.
It has not gotten any better. You know your linebackers suck. Even though Alex Singleton, he had 8 tackles yesterday. There's nothing to be proud about that. He did all right. Nothing to, it's like, am I going to come on here and really start hooting and hollering about Alex Singleton? Hell no.
No, but why don't they use Davion Taylor more? Why don't they use Kayvon Wallace more?
Where's Kayvon Wallace?
Use the guys you draft? Because the only ones you do use are bad. I mean, you got nothing to lose at this point.
Jalen Mills is still getting beat by double moves, ladies and gentlemen. If you're playing against the Eagles and you got Jalen Mills, just do a double move. It's the same thing. It's been the same thing for the past 5 years. Jim Schwartz, whatever Jim Schwartz is calling, newsflash, idiot, it doesn't work. It does not work. All right? It really doesn't work. I'm tired of it. And then Fletcher Cox, too. Yes, Zach, I know he had a strip sack, whatever you want to call it, yesterday and set up a point. But where the hell has he been? This front.
No, I mean, Brandon Graham had 2 sacks. Brandon Graham's having a defensive player of the year kind of year.
You fired your defensive line coach before the defensive coordinator. You fired the defensive line coach because what? They wasn't getting to the quarterback anymore. Here's the idea. If your damn secondary can cover somebody, maybe they might just get there.
I mean, Jim Schwartz is also terrified to blitz. You won't use the talent that you drafted in the draft. Davion Taylor's a pretty fast guy. You got to give him at some point. He's got to learn to develop.
Keep on back 5 yards
any other year.
You're playing back 5 yards for what? What is that going to do? You're just giving them. Zach, I said it once and I said it again, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Jim Schwartz needs to go. All right, he needs to go. He should have went last year. Damn it, should have went last year. Why the hell is he still here? I don't know. Maybe we have a problem getting rid of people. It seems to be the meta of this story. You couldn't
do. Jason Peters
couldn't get rid of Matt Cutting, and you finally did that. You couldn't get rid of Brett Brown for Lord knows how long, and now we're looking at another situation here. And ladies and gentlemen, I know I missed 2 other teams, but they're winning. The Flyers are winning, and the Union are doing well. The 3 teams that aren't winning are the Eagles, Phillies, and Sixers. All right, but that's the size of the point. We're focused on the Eagles right now. Zach, I told you yesterday, and I'm gonna say it again. They need to clean the damn house. It's dirty. Howie Roseman needs to go, even though they're going to keep talking about Howie Roseman. They're married to Howie Roseman. How many bad drafts do you need to have? You couldn't have the queen. You knew damn well your linebackers weren't nothing this year. You knew it. Zach.
You could have drafted Zach Bond out of Wisconsin in the second round. You drafted Jalen Hurts instead. We're talking about CeeDee Lamb, right? And how CeeDee Lamb could have been the guy we could have traded up for. But staying in that spot, we could have taken Justin Jefferson, the most pro-ready player in that draft. The SEC defenses are for real. All right? This is absolutely terrible. Horrible drafting by Howie Roseman. Look what happened this year. Look what happened. They turned it around, and the season hadn't even started yet. Why can't the Eagles do that?
Kawhi Alexander, Zach, went to the Saints for nothing on the trade deadline. You knew damn well your linebackers suck. And guess what, Howie? You don't do anything. You relatively stay silent. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the Eagles signed Jordan Howard today. You should have never got rid of him. And what is that going to do?
It doesn't make a difference if your coach doesn't run the ball.
Exactly. 2017, going back to this comment, he's right. He's correct. That was a running team. Who did they have in the backfield 2017? They had LeGarrette Blount, right, who's arguably one of the best red zone running backs ever because he's a big target. And you also had Jay Ajayi, a healthy Jay Ajayi with decent knees.
And Corey Clement, who was a phenomenal
I don't know, could bounce off tackles and produce. What the hell am I watching? Jason Peters, you brought him back for what? For him to get hurt and steal money?
It was a horrible decision. You have the offensive line depth here. Is it pretty? No. I mean, would you rather have Brandon Brooks, the best right guard in the game? Of course you would. And Lane Johnson, who's injured again. The medical staff sucks. All right, that's for starters. The team can't damn stay healthy. All right, you draft terrible picks when you could have just taken the easy one. And then you have horrible play calling and adaptation on game day. And then, of course, the quarterback makes bad decisions. Of course, that's going to be the top story, but there's a lot more. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more shit going on in the background on this field of the Eagles team that needs to be fixed before you think about cutting 11. Because, frankly, again, he's not the best quarterback in the league right now. But last year, people were saying on sports talk shows that he could have been better than Aaron Rodgers. I certainly don't agree with that or ever think he will be.
Hell no.
But statistically, the past few years, he actually was better than him, better QBR than him. Does it mean much? Maybe not. But here's the deal, and it's very simple. You have a lot of other things you need to fix that a quarterback change won't do. And you want to know the evidence? You want to know the basic example of that? Look at Chicago. How are they doing? Are they doing any better? Are they really doing any better with Nick Foles at quarterback? No disrespect to Nick.
They lost more with Nick Foles.
Great guy. But they are not playing well at all because the coach sucks. The O-line sucks. Their defense is actually Super Bowl caliber. I mean, it's a damn shame that we don't have that defense. But in all honesty, you need to fix the actual issues. And if you don't do that, if you make Carson Wentz the scapegoat, frankly, you're not going to fix your problems.
I can't with this team, Zach. And here's another annoying part about this team. And we talked about financially, right? You can't give up. And you told me when I'm ready to quit on Baker Mayfield, because arguably he didn't look good yesterday. He didn't throw a touchdown pass. You lost to the run game and the interception, a pick six, to be exact. But Zach, let me digress for a second. All right. You talked about Baker Mayfield getting a new coach. You got Kevin Stefanski. Baker Mayfield looks like the best game manager in the league right now.
And he also has, OBJ's hurt now, but OBJ and Jarvis. Yeah. And take a look too, Gavin. There's a guy in Buffalo who's an average quarterback. He's very athletic, definitely above average this year. Big difference. Look at the talent. They have one of the best wide receiver cores in the league. And then go down to Arizona. Another guy, second-year quarterback. You go out and you get him DeAndre Hopkins. This Eagles team, potential.
Remember,
correctly, and they made the right move. They could have DK Metcalf right now, Justin Jefferson, and Stephon Diggs or DeAndre Hopkins. At that point, maybe Carson Wentz could be the problem. But I find it really hard to believe that Carson Wentz with a healthy O-line and that kind of wide receiver core would struggle. Give him the Cowboys wide receiving core for God's sake. I just can't. The ball has been dropped too many times by this football team.
Well, Zach, too, you got to look at it. Both those guys that you just named, the Cardinals and the Bills, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, both those guys you just named, have winning records this year.
And they're in the MVP conversation.
Two good damn wide receivers. And guess what, Zach? They went on the same day for absolutely nothing. More D-Hop. I know the price was a little bit pricey for Stephon Diggs, and D-Hop went for a bag of chips and a third-round pick. But guess what? Nothing. Howie Roseman is the New York Knicks of management. He got in his own damn way and didn't do anything. Oh, no, we're going to get Jalen Reagor. Oh, wait a minute. Justin Jefferson was there? Oh, damn, I'm sorry. The only good thing I like this year, and I'm starting to question this, Zach, and you can attack me for this or not agree with me. Darius Slay looked like a good pick in the beginning, but where the hell is he? Where the hell is he? I know I have someone look at his lackluster interceptions, but ladies and gentlemen, that's what you get if you're shut down corner. You're not going to have the interceptions aren't going to be there. But he's done his job for the most part. But I don't know. This defense is so damn bad. I don't
use him correctly.
See him out there.
He eliminates the number one wide receiver. Landry didn't do anything yesterday. Terry McLaurin didn't do anything week 1. Cooper Kupp didn't do much week 2. He's shut down the number one receiver. Juju Smith-Schuster was shut down. Marquise Brown didn't do much. He's doing his job, but they're also misusing him, and he's getting beat now more often than he used to. Jim Schwartz is really messing with this defense.
Jim Schwartz needs to go, and Doug Pearson needs to go, and Howie Roseman needs to go. And I know Howie and Doug just signed a new extension, but guess what?
What do they do to deserve it? A 9-7 record back-to-back years?
But, Zach, they need to extend their ass out the door because they need to go. Excuse my language, but that's the truth. We need some fresh minds. Well, look at the Sixers. New head coach, new coaching staff, new president of operations, and Daryl Morey. They're turning it around, and the season hasn't started yet, and I'm excited. Look at that. Look at what the Flyers did. They got a new coach, and they went first. I know some Flyers fans are calling it a fluke here and there. That's cool. Look at the Phillies. We hope they can turn it around. Damn it. I mean, don't get me started on them. Please don't. But Zach, the Sixers turned it around. They got all new things. They're making new deals. And Howie Rose's been here for too long. He outlasted. How the hell do you outlast Chip Kelly? How?
This is an incredibly underperforming team. They're not the most talented. They're poorly coached, and it all shows on the field on Sunday.
You gotta get a new quarterback, or excuse me, you gotta get a new coach before you get rid of your quarterback. I agree with you, Zach. Yeah,
I think so. I think almost every team in the league has had that precedent.
Look at Daniel Jones.
Chicago.
Look at Daniel Jones. Even though the record doesn't show, Daniel Jones looks pretty good. Joe Judge is doing something perfect over there. Look at Ron Rivera. Even though we're not fond of how Dwayne Haskins was benched and ultimately deserves it.
They're now starting to win games. They're starting to turn around.
And Zach, this is gonna pain me to say this too, but did you look at the Cowboys with Dak Prescott? I know they were down. The defense was bad, but they got arguably the best offense in the league. Well, in this division, I should say. In this division, they got all the pieces there.
There's a lot that's going on right now with this Eagles team. There's a lot that can be done from the business perspective, from the finances, and the objective goal of winning. And the Eagles need to make those moves. They need to start making them swiftly, or this is going to get ugly. I don't see them winning another game this year, Gavin. You really see them beat the Seahawks or the Saints?
I could care less.
Do you see them beating the Packers? You see them beating the Cowboys again? You see them beating the football team? I don't.
Look, Zach, I
don't.
I'm an Eagles fan, but I don't give a damn if they win or not. Let's just call this over with. Let's just get a good pick in the draft. Oh, man, forget it. We're not going to get the right person we need. We're going to get some dude from the University of nowhere that no one ever heard of. Like we are the New York Knicks of drafting. They drafted some person, not this year, ladies and gentlemen, but they drafted, remember, Nilikina from France and stuff. That's what we're doing. We're getting people we never heard of, and they're not doing nothing.
They did hit on Kristaps Porzingis, though. I think New York.
That was a good pick. But he's not there no more, so I can't give them credit for that.
All right, coming up after this to continue the breakdown of the NFL. We will continue to cover the Eagles throughout the week and some next steps. Some shockers around the NFL. We'll go through the 3 or 4 games that polarize the most after this. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. All right, we'll go through them. There's 3 notable games that caught our eye this week, Gavin. The first one that I have to pull up has to be, Dallas Cowboys. The Vikings defense isn't good, but is it possible that the Cowboys are now back in the conversation to win the NFC East?
Well, Zach, any team in the NFC East is back in the conversation. Damn it, you need more than just one. You just need 5 wins, really. You need 5 wins to do it, but the Cowboys look good yesterday. Zeke broke 100 yards rushing. Andy Dalton must have got some sense knocked back into him because he looked decent yesterday. He didn't look great, but he looked decent.
You got to be a game manager with that kind of offense.
Exactly. That's all they need is a game manager. I said it today in our class, and they paid me to say it. The Cowboys can win the division by just with their offense.
And they have an easier schedule moving forward from here. The next game, of course, Tennessee Titans, Baltimore Ravens, Derrick Henry, overtime rushing touchdown to win the game. 6-4, Gavin. We both projected them to be, I said 15-0. Or sorry, 16-0. But are you worried about Baltimore right now?
I'm worried defensively for Baltimore. Here's why. Zach, they cut Earl Thomas early in the year due to a fight or something in training camp or practice or whatever. Zach, statistically, their Baltimore defense has not been great ever since that. Baltimore does not fear anybody. They don't. I'm not scared of Baltimore. No one's scared of Baltimore. They don't have a number one wide receiver. All right, Lamar Jackson looks extremely frustrated. His offensive line is also banged up too. J.K. Dobbins had a nice day. I mean, you see what happens when you keep running the ball. Doug Peterson, they kept running the ball. But it falls down not having a number one wide receiver. It really does. I think that they're going to bounce back. This week's a great week for them, especially to get back in it. But the question is their willingness to want to keep playing.
Going into the year, pretty much Super Bowl favorites could possibly not even make the playoffs with how competitive the AFC is. And then we do have two more games we are going to go over here. The Broncos-Dolphins game. Gavin, some first thoughts on that?
The offensive line of the Miami Dolphins got beat up yesterday, and Tua got beat up. Ladies and gentlemen, Tua was not benched due to play because it was just a 7-point game, Zach. 7-point game. 10-point game. Yeah, 10-point game. And Tua got sacked, 6 times?
Seven
times? 7 times? I think that was more of a healthy decision to keep Tua healthy.
He will be starting next week. Brian Flores did announce.
Exactly.
You'll have to see how it rolls out because that does knock him out of the playoffs for now.
For right now, it does. But once again, Zach, I believe the Patriots aren't anything special. They're really not.
It's a very, very competitive AFC this year. And then finally, Gavin, the Colts and the Green Bay Packers. Packers drop one in Indianapolis. Some thoughts on that?
It goes as far as Phillip Rivers can take them, Zach. And that was a great game for starters. Came down to the end. Lazard with the fumble. Oh, man. Green Bay fans are not happy with him. I could just tell I wouldn't be happy with him. But the Colts defense is legit. Darius Leonard is legit. Malik Hooker, I know he went down, but their secondary is still good. Michael Pittman on the offensive side and the crew with Nyheim Hines, and they don't even have Marlon Mack, Zach. But I'm gonna say it again. It's as far as Phillip Rivers takes them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how it rolls up. But Frank Reich doing a pretty damn good job in Indianapolis. And finally, now coming up after this, picks for Monday Night Football. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers up against Jared Goff and the Rams.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
All right, Gavin, the Rams traveling to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers tonight. Jalen Ramsey coming off of some pretty impressive shutdowns, including that of DK Metcalf last week. Who are you taking tonight? Some score predictions and maybe some bold takes as well.
I'm going to go with the Rams tonight, Zach. Look, Tampa has struggled versus great defenses this year. The Saints, the Bears, and this is another great defense, and the Rams tonight. It's not going to be a pretty game, meaning a high-scoring shootout, 30 like we saw versus the Packers and Colts. This is going to be one of those 17-14 type games where the Jared Goff and the Rams just squeak it out. But my bold prediction, what would it be? Ramsey versus Godwin or Ramsey versus Mike Evans? I'm not sure.
I think it's going to be, they're going to try to eliminate Evans entirely. Obviously in the red zone, I know that Ramsey will be on Evans because he's been their go-to guy there. For me tonight, I'm going to take the Buccaneers in a squeaker, a game-winning field goal. I'll say 27-24. But I do think that the key for the game is Tom Brady's got to step up and make some big-time throws, because I think the run game is going to struggle tonight for that. I think the screen game, Bruce Arians needs to call the right plays, but that defense needs to get some clutch stops for them as well. And they've been good all year, but they've struggled against some good offenses, and Sean McVay's nothing short of an offensive genius.
Sean McVay's an offensive mind. Zach, I'm not fond of Jared Goff still, but hey, they're getting the job done. They're winning games. But Zach, this game can go either way. We've seen Tampa Bay look good, and we've seen Tampa Bay look bad. We've seen, a whole bunch of great Tom Brady moments where he's hitting Gronkowski and Ronald Jones is running the ball effectively and everybody. And then you've seen where they just can't get anything going. I got to roll with Aaron Donald in the pass rush tonight because if you get Tom Brady as a standing statue, all right, their offensive line of the Buccaneers isn't the worst, but it's nothing to rave about. They're going to get to Tom Brady. Now, how many flags are they going to get? Because the NFL is trying to preserve their lifelong dinosaur. But it's like I like the Rams tonight, defensively at least. Offensively, it's a hit or miss for me.
I do just say, though, I do think Antonio Brown will score his first touchdown tonight as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
I don't believe so. I think they have too many weapons, and I still don't think that. Well, there's nothing wrong with too many weapons, but I just don't feel like Antonio Brown fits in well there.
Let's see how it rolls out. Thank you, buddy, so much for joining us here on the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. We'll be back tomorrow. Stay tuned on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat for updates. We figure out the timing for the week. We will get some hour shows in this week as it is the.
We will get some guests as well with us.
Absolutely. We're going to have some exciting shows lined up for you. Stay tuned. Thank you again for watching and have a great day.
Have a good one, everybody.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos.